Okay. So welcome to, what are we on? Week 3, week 4, week 3. Yeah, so this week we are diving into meal planning, meal prepping. Some of you guys are pros at it by now. Some of you guys are just getting started. If you saw the module that went out, it talks about setting some days, building it in our schedule. Just like we schedule time with our bosses, we should schedule time with ourselves. The old what gets scheduled gets done. So I think today is a great time to just kind of check in on how that meal prepping is going. What have been some things that have been going that have made that easy for you guys? What are some hacks maybe you've come across, and how can we overcome some challenges that you might be bumping up against with that? Anyone want to start with things that have been going well with meal prep?
I can if you want. So I find it very good to do it like Sunday or Monday morning when I know that my partner is going to go food shopping. Because I'll do, like, the deal is, it seems like that I'll do the prep and then he'll go shopping, which is great. It works for us.
Who does the dishes?
Oh, if you cook, the other one does the dishes. So, either way, the
Yep.
cooking could go either way. But and also having that schedule, if you take the schedule like week by week, because sometimes the week fluctuates, and like this week, I'm actually getting company from Japan tomorrow.
Ooh.
One of my coworkers. Yeah. So she's staying for a week, and I know, like, I'm going to go out with my team, and it's like a lot of not being home in the evenings. But we needed to eat before she got here, and so not knowing, I was actually going to send you a quick text because I know you were just in Japan, and I wanted to see some things just to have in the fridge when she got here. But I got some extra fruit, and just knowing that there's things that will be good to have, and then I can always take her, to get. So that was like an exceptional week where I have company, and also I needed to have some things for us to eat. So I only planned like 2 meals from the meal plan. I did the chicken that you had from last week and the quiche, because I knew those were things. And I actually doubled the chicken, or based on, I used 4 breasts instead of 2. So just so we had a little bit more, to eat in the spaces that I knew we were going to do. So really it's about, for me, the success is looking at the week, picking not too much to do, just the appropriate amount to do, including the leftovers. So
I think that's good. I think sometimes it's easy to over meal prep, and then you're I don't know if you saw my Instagram, you're forcing your boyfriend to eat too much broccoli soup. He's like, please no. I pulled it out last night and I was like, hey, you want some? He's like, no. Yeah, but I do like when you can layer with leftovers. Like if you don't have broccoli soup and you have like leftover, let's say like sauteed Swiss chard, and you're like, all right, well, I got the Swiss chard and I think I got some fish in the fridge, and maybe you pull out some rice from your freezer that you've pre-cooked and put in your little cupcake tins and put away. So that's nice, and I feel like makes meal prep so much easier if you're cooking on the fly when you just have a couple of elements already put together. Yeah.
And the quiche was great, and
Another good one.
Yeah, I didn't use it for breakfast, but I used a smaller portion kind of as a little side, and just calculated it into the calorie count thing. So
yeah. I also I think it's nice, like I've been doing like eggs with leftover veggies at breakfast. So we had like some green beans that I sauteed up, and I had that with like some avocado toast and eggs. I'm like, this is perfect. Done. So yeah. Feel
And
free to break up the ingredients. The main purpose of the meal plans, I think, is just to get you cooking something different.
yeah. And that and just to have like quality leftovers and quality things in the fridge, even if you don't end up, like you said, making the full meal or making the meal, even if you bought some of the ingredients and then maybe one day you don't feel like making the whole thing, you just have a couple of those. You're still eating healthy things versus the you know, looking for junk that's you think is going to materialize and then you just make up junk or go out for junk, you know.
Yeah. It's also nice, like if you have, we made some summer rolls or Vietnamese spring rolls, like the ones that aren't fried the other day, and had a bunch of leftover chopped up peppers. And I was just like, all right, I get Swiss chard, chopped up peppers. We'll just put them in together and then you have more and it works. So it's kind of nice just to repurpose some ingredients or add more to it, and increase the nutrient density there. Oh, Ashton's making it in. So Ashton's new. She was doing a little bit of one-on-one coaching, and now she's joining. Hey, Ashton.
Hey,
How are you? Oh,
I don't know what's going on right now. Having answers, hold on.
So we're talking a little bit about meal planning and prepping and different challenges you might come across or things that you do to kind of help make it easier. So we're just kind of having a conversation around that. Feel free to hop in. But I'll let you get a little bit settled in and we'll move on to Chastity and see how things are going with her.
So for me, everything's been super chaotic, so my meal prep is a little different. The last 2 weeks I've been at my parents', so I don't really have control of the menu. So I've had to kind of pivot a little bit, and what I've been doing is trying to kind of track what we eat and trying to find kind of like a healthy balance of, okay, well, you guys are going to eat this. I know I don't like pork chops, so instead I'm going to do my lemon chicken and, more vegetables to kind of go with it. Or um, based on the meals, kind of how do I feel before I eat them versus after I eat them? Or like, am I starving? Am I stress eating? Trying to kind of like pinpoint the emotions to each meal and what I'm eating. I've learned, I think we talked about this last session. Sushi is kind of like my comfort food, but that's really anything Asian or Japanese. So I think trying to kind of plan around high stress points during the week and incorporating those types of comfort foods, trying to kind of figure out how to do it healthily versus just going to like Panda Express or, going to Walmart, raiding the frozen food section and just heating up something in the oven.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like certain days of the week that you're more stressed, or like do you have any patterns with that?
High work days where I'm working more than, I would say if I'm working late more than 3 days in a row, that's usually when I get the most stressed. I've been trying to kind of like journal and kind of see where that's coming through. My dad had surgery on Monday, so that's where a lot of it kind of came from the last couple weeks. He's been in and out of the hospital, so just trying to kind of see where those stress points come in, is what I've been trying to track.
That's awesome. Yeah, good for you. Imagine if you weren't tracking that and you're letting it well up and you'd be like, "Wow,"
I would honestly feel like I'm going crazy, not gonna lie.
I feel like that's obviously unfortunate that your dad's kind of going through that, but I think it's also like a really beautiful thing to see you learning and like being proactive about managing that, And kind of like, all right, like this doesn't feel good, and it might not be perfect, but at least you're like, okay, like I think I'm gonna go for a walk, or like, go for a swim or whatever, and just kind of relax a little bit and get back down to baseline. What are some things you've been doing to manage that stress?
Oddly enough, gardening. We actually got to harvest some collard greens and bib lettuce the other day, which has been actually kind of nice. Kind of doing that yard work has kind of been where most of that comes in, or just, I think I mentioned this last session, just sitting down and kind of doing nothing, reading a book, or just kind of decompressing before I go to bed has been helping a lot.
Good.
I'm really big on numbers and using data to make decisions. So sometimes I overanalyze, and I kind of took our routine tracker and modified it a little bit for like meal prepping and trying to plan in like the different schedules or appointments, and figuring out, okay, I know I'm eating this, or I'm going to go here and have this. So even if it doesn't fall on the exact time that I want to do it, I at least have an idea of what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have a little bit of a plan.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're over planning?
Probably, in all honesty. But I feel like it helps me kind of get through it all, to be honest,
Yeah.
to have at least some kind of control of at least something, if that makes sense.
Well, and I feel like it keeps you from going to extremes on things. So I was actually on a call this morning, and we were talking about like fueling for a marathon, which, is not exactly the same, but once you put a plan in place, it kind of normalizes like, okay, this is what I should be expecting for things to look like. But things don't always go according to plan, and if you adjust it a little bit, that's okay. But I think it's like learning that flexibility with it is good. But also like having that plan in place keeps you from going from like stress eating to restriction to, the big ebb and flow of things. So it's uh good to see that you're having intervals that are working for you. Yeah. When you move into your house?
That's a great question. That actually changed today. It was supposed to be the 26th, and they asked if we could close sooner, so TBD.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Start that
Kind of
30-year
nerve-wracking.
mortgage. Yeah.
Right. The sooner we move, the sooner I can get into a routine.
Yeah.
It'll be nice.
Ashton, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi. How have things been going meal prep wise for you? What are some things you feel like you've been doing well? We'll start there.
Well, I think just these past couple of days doing what we talked about, like trying to cook a whole chicken and then basically eating off of that the whole day. So I was able to do like chicken Caesar salad wraps for me and the family. And then that night I shredded the rest of it up and made some of the sheet pan chicken and still had leftovers from that.
Great.
That we just finished up today, so that lasted a couple of days. And then I took the chicken and did the bone broth and put it in the crock pot and just let it sit the whole night. And then the next morning I put it in the cans and then made soup with it that night. So we still have leftovers for that. So yeah, I think for these past couple of days, it's went pretty well, but with a family of 5, I need to plan again.
Was that your first time cooking a whole chicken?
Yes.
Was it easier or harder than you expected?
Oh, it was not that bad. I just had to Google how to clean out the insides because I did not know how to do any, I don't, but it wasn't as bad or as terrifying as I thought it was gonna be, and I just texted my mom and had her walk me through too, so.
There you go. Yeah. What are
Now
some,
Oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Now I'm thinking next time I just need to cook two on the same day, so I have more to last a little bit longer.
You're feeding a lot of mouths too, so.
Yeah.
How
And my
many,
husband,
how, would you like to share with everyone how many people are in your house?
yeah, there's 5 of us. My husband probably eats for 2 himself, and then my 4-year-old son, he eats the house down all day long. And then I have 2 girls and then myself, so.
Yeah, so you're staying busy.
Yeah.
What were some things that were more of a challenge for you in regards to being more proactive about meal prepping?
Trying to nail down the plan and get the grocery list together, I think, just because I overanalyze on that front. And then just, I like to make sure that I have everything, or see what's in my pantry first, and then, so just, I think just getting all of that organized was really my hardest part, because I start to feel rushed and like I need to get out and go get everything, so.
Yeah. Are you cooking once a week, twice a week, 6 times a week?
It varies, like if we don't have stuff planned, then I'm pulling out the chicken I already have in the freezer, and we're defrosting it and just cooking that for dinner, so yeah, it's a couple times a week.
Okay. Yeah, cool. How many times are you guys cooking, Laura and Chastity?
Maybe 3 for me.
So if I'm in my routine, I do everything on Sunday. And I'll cook for the week, and then usually Friday we'll go out and eat something for like a date night.
That's nice. You have a pretty good blend there. It kind of depends on the week for me. Sometimes in an ideal world, I'd cook on Sunday. A lot of times I cook on Monday though, because it's like quiet at the house and I like that space to be more creative. And also I'm like thinking about, all right, what's everyone want to try this week? But yeah, I think it's also fun. I like to go to the farmer's market on Saturday and just kind of see what there is and put a little hodgepodge together. But yeah, I would say I cook at least once or twice a day, because we typically will make breakfast, if you count that as cooking eggs. Yeah. Anyone?
If you have to do dishes after, it counts as cooking.
Well, if you have a cast iron, you can season it a few times. Yeah. Yeah, my mom had a good point. She goes, I hunt, I cook, I gather, I don't do dishes. Like, I'm gonna use that. So whoever cooks doesn't have to do dishes, and we're in training here. Me doing training now because Phil's cooking up a bunch of fish. So I'm like, okay, gotta figure that out. We cooked a whole fish the other night and it was good, but like when the scales kind of like crisp up and curl up, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of creepy to me, but whatever. How is everyone's self-reflection this week? Good. Anyone want to share from that?
I can share.
Mhm.
Hi, Ashton, I'm Laura.
Hi, next
live
week
in-
I'll be on video. I just totally forgot about this today, so
That's right.
remembered and was like, crap.
I live in New York. So far, I commented on a few things here. Sorry about the glare in my
Okay.
glasses.
I like your glasses, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So the biggest wins that I had this week was that I actually, I organized the 3 things that I want, 3 habits that I want to build this week. And the first one is making sure I have water in the morning before my coffee. And we talked about that last week as something good to do. And I said, that's something I could totally do. But, and I also want to continue to really make an effort about tracking my food, and also, making sure and measuring it as much as I can, making sure the portions are correctly tracked, and not just making it up kind of thing, but like actually making an effort that I am doing the correct portion sizes. And then attempting to get up and move between 7 and 7:30 in the morning, even if it's, a little bit in that half an hour, just to move and to try to start work at 8:30 instead of 9 for summer. So and then I am almost back from jet lag, so my afternoons are still a little slow, but I am sleeping through the night now, which is like
Good.
fantastic. Ashton and I went to Europe for 2 weeks, so like I was all out of whack last week. And then I organized the meals, and for the schedule I have this week with company coming. So that was kind of my week. And then I think I did about 85% with the water, and I did about 85% with the weigh and measure, but trying to get up and out between 7 and 7:30, I did it once. The weather also in the morning was terrible, so to go outside, so that didn't really happen. And I think it's just really the jet lag. Recovery is still a little slow on the morning part, so I'll work on that more this week. But I think the tracking is getting to be more of a habit now, and I know to be successful with the water that I have to bring my Yeti up with me full when I go to bed, and not forget to do that, because that's like that's a success factor. I will drink the water if the Yeti is full next to my bed in the morning when I wake up. So so that's it. That's what I have.
You like that? How does it feel doing the water before coffee? Have you noticed any changes, or you feel about the same?
Not yet, but I think it feels good. I did have, when you travel, sometimes you get a little swollen, with your ankles and stuff, and just I felt like that probably helped flush out some of the edema or whatever they call it from the travel. So that probably went faster than it would have if I wasn't drinking the water. So and the scale went down this week, so hey, maybe that's working.
Yeah. Have you been walking or anything still since?
Well, that was part of my fail. Things that didn't go so good, because I wanted to do that in the morning before work. But the weather this week was really just gross and rainy, so it really was not conducive to going outside for a walk, really.
So maybe it's have you been rowing?
Yep.
Good.
Yep. I started my workouts back up.
Nice.
I needed my little downtime, but I'm back on it. So
Yeah. International travel will take you out. Those are great. I think those are all really good ones. Building awareness, focusing on energy in the morning, having a plan with your meals, all good things. Chastity?
All right. So can you remind me of the question, the continue or change? Right?
kind of just like how your self-reflection went, any notable things there, progress on goals, things that
Got
maybe you bumped up against and you want some feedback on. You know, we're a big sounding board. There's a lot of brains in here to pull from.
Right. Okay. So a couple of things that I thought that went well was through all the madness, just taking time to kind of reflect and think of like 3 things that I'm grateful for in the morning and then 3 things in the evening. Kind of trying to keep it more positive. And then I actually slept for 8 hours twice this week. So yeah, that's great. I tried, instead of downloading an app, Netflix had this meditation series called Headspace. So I
Mhm.
started kind of like just playing that in the background until I fell asleep, which surprisingly worked. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that. Um, what else? Ooh, calendar blocking. So one of my takeaways from last week, I wanted to kind of work in breaks during my usual work day, and that's helped a lot from like various tasks. It kind of helps me keep from overthinking things and just get it done within like an hour or 2 hours or whatever it is. So I started doing that with like journaling, meal prepping, um, when I need to cook compared to when, I just need to heat something up. Um, let's
How
see.
long are your breaks in the workday?
So I try to do 3 like 10 to 15-minute breaks just to kind of like get up and move around. Um, I've been consistently hitting my step goal every day. So like here's where my stat brain came in. In my reflection, I wrote like I increased my average steps year over year by 54%, right? So I went from 2,000 steps to over 4,000 steps. So super stoked on that. Um, so now my goal, I want to hit 10,000 steps a day by the end of summer. Just so that I can actually keep staying active. And fun fact, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'm running the Donna. So I definitely should have been training for that. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week.
What's the distance?
Just 5K.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have fun. That'll be a good one.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. Um, but then sorry, I'm going through reading what I wrote.
You're good.
Yeah, I think just sticking to the plan, trusting the process, keep moving. Those are really my biggest takeaways. And then um, incorporating more water in my day. I need to definitely do that. Um, let's see. Oh, and then a fun one that I want to kind of add in. Whenever we binge watch like shows or like long movies, I was thinking about adding in like a workout game. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but like when certain things happen, you just do like 10 push-ups or you do 3 burpees, like whatever it may be. I used to do that all the time in high school, so I thought about bringing it back just to not just sit around. So we'll see how that
Probably
goes.
better than taking a shot.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like, I remember that as shot games.
So those are dangerous. Just the inverse.
I honestly, I'm like the queen of toys. I think I might have talked to you guys about this. I like the ankle weights a lot. I'll do like little booty exercises or like little
Yeah.
hydrant dogs. They honestly, my butt looks so good right now doing these. You see, my boyfriend's like, so you're gonna stop wearing Costco panties and get some real undies? And I was like, you realize how comfy they are, and you're still wearing the same underwear. So come at me. Also, laundry is expensive, so
Right.
yeah.
I feel like I'm so freaking lazy.
I mean, like, dude, I went in bed last night and I was like, here goes Eleanor putting her Costco undies on, and she's going to be so comfortable while she sleeps, and it's gonna be so giving him so much crap. It was good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And Ashton, it may be good to do with your kids too, just to kind of keep them busy and wear them down. I used to do that when I babysat, and it was good to kind of keep them distracted. Now, how long it lasts, that's the real question.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I wish I had the energy they had.
Right.
Our dog is really good at like forcing us to do stuff when we're on the couch. So he'll make us like throw things for him. But yeah, usually we'll try and do something. I'll try and like roll out. There's usually a time where I'm doing like more stretching, or I use a massage stick and try and get things loosened up, or just something. Sometimes it's just nice to veg out. But if I haven't done much setting, Laura, you could always just get a really uncomfortable couch and
Been there, did that. I caved in like 6 months and bought a new one.
I tried to see how long we could go without getting a TV here. It didn't last that long. I've never really had a TV, but my boyfriend's like, we need a TV. It's nice.
That whole gamification thing was like generation after me, I think, or two. So I just like, that doesn't motivate me.
Have you all been watching any good shows lately?
The Diplomat, watched that, binged that.
Ooh,
That was pretty
I
good.
wanted to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. You got to be awake though, because there's a lot of dialogue.
We binged watched Night Agent on Netflix. That one was really good.
Would be good. We got sucked into My Rich Life. There was a guy who had a checking account set up for his dog, and I'm like, here's a point. I think Ashton and I were talking about this. I was like, here's a point where your self priorities are lower than your dog's. Like, we got a problem here. So I think we're gonna open up a checking account for the cat.
Just leave it for their vet bills.
Yeah, thankfully they don't really
Oh,
pay that much. My mom's like, I paid like $800 for my dog the other day. And I'm like, sorry.
Mhm.
The other thing I wanted to talk about today is doing the buddy system. So next week, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be on vacation. So you guys are doing the buddy system, taking my mom to South Carolina, North Carolina. We're gonna do a little getaway. I think it's supposed to be
Okay.
raining the whole time, so we'll get creative. Cold and rainy.
Where
Going.
where at?
So I have a wedding in South Carolina, and then Phil and I we got our moms coming up to North Carolina. So we're gonna be in like Brevard, Pisgah. A lot of good hiking out there, good mountain biking. I don't know if he'll be able to do mountain biking. I gotta keep training for this half marathon, so I probably won't try and get myself injured for once. Yeah, but I think it'll be nice. There's if you ever go out to Brevard, there's a farmer's market there, and you have to look for the mushroom man. It's not that kind of mushrooms, but if you go, you can sign up and you can go for like a mushroom hunt with him, and he'll take you out in the woods, and you can go and like pick up like chanterelles, truffles, like you learn all these different mushrooms. And I was like, this is so cool. And I was out there
Sounds-
car camping, and I like got a bunch of mushrooms, and we cooked them up, and you got to try all the different ones. And it's crazy how different all the mushrooms taste. There's like a lion's mane and all these different weird mushrooms. And I got a whole book, and I can't even tell you what's what. So I still feel sketched out eating just some random mushroom I picked up on the trail, but there's like people who go hard in that stuff. But it's cool, like learning different ways that you can forage like in your local area. It's crazy because we're kind of all dotting the continent of North America, so we probably have very different things based on where you're living. But it's neat, like learning different herbs or flowers or like fruit. Chastity, where you're at, there's like figs and blackberries and all kinds of fruit. And here there's a lot of herbs, a lot of sage, fennel, and avocados and pomegranates. Laura, I have no idea what's up near you.
We have rosemary like crazy,
Mhm.
and apples, big on apples.
Apples, yeah.
We have every apple known to man
Maple
here.
syrup.
Maple syrup, we got that in spades. Yeah, it's good. We got a lot of good stuff. We got cheese too. We have a lot of
Yeah, I was
we
gonna
have a
say,
lot of
cow
dairy and cows and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so buddy, they're on the Excel sheet, second tab in. You'll see the accountability buddy sheet. So go ahead and put your name in there. Stephanie is my example here. And we'll get you paired up. You might be in pairs of 2 or 3, just depending. But then we can set up a time to chat with your buddy next week and kind of just build some community there, get to know one another. So that's really what the group coaching is about, is about building it outside of you. Because yes, our self-care is important, but you know, when we're able to be there for somebody else and set the example, whether it's for our kids or our family members or our friends, that's where the magic really happens, and makes it a little bit more fun. And you can also do, you know, silly TV challenges with your friends too, and do push-ups instead of shots. Or shots of
Keeping it healthy.
diluted apple cider vinegar with silly
Oh,
emoji.
we could do that, or maybe just like shots of water.
Shots of filtered alkaline water. Yeah. And then anyone reading the book of the month? Kind of bleeding into May here. Glucose Revolution.
Working on it.
Audiobook it. You can Spark Note it. There's some good things in there. But it's just it's a nice one to think about, you know, the sequence of food. So I think we talked a little bit about last time. Your body's kind of like a filter. You know, you have alcohol on an empty stomach, feel a little silly. Versus alcohol after eating a meal, it's a little bit harder to get that significant impact on your body. So carbs and sugar act the same way. The cleaner you eat them, you might notice the more sensitive you are to those changes. So as you're advancing, kind of thinking about how you're layering your food. So starting off with vegetables, maybe you have a little bit of vinegar on that. That's going to help really act as a fiber filter, if you will, because you have a lot of fiber in your vegetables. The vinegar is going to make you a little bit more insulin sensitive. So that means that your body's able to utilize that blood glucose or blood sugar more effectively by absorbing it into the cells and giving you more energy to be able to do things. And then, you know, vegetable, protein, a little bit of fat, and then you have your source of carbohydrate. So if you're structuring it like that, if you wore a continuous glucose monitor, you'll notice that you won't have as much of a peak and a decline as rapidly, but it'll be more of an easy ebb and flow. And a lot of times people, once they're regulating their blood sugar, whether you're diabetic or not, you'll see an improvement in your energy levels throughout the day. You might notice better cognitive function, reduced irritability, anxiety, depression, things that can happen on that downslide of the blood sugar curve there. So something to be aware of. It's kind of a neat one to learn about. Again, whether you're diabetic or not, just kind of notice like, like I'm feeling really, really tired here. What might be going on? Or, ooh, I feel a little worked up. Like, oh, I had this, and this. Or maybe I had coffee on an empty stomach, and then I had a candy bar on top of it because I was really depleted. And now we have this whoop, whoop. So noticing how those foods interact in your body, and the more you learn about things, the more you're going to be able to put two and two together. Again, it's not going to be me saying, these 6 things are going to change your life. It's going to be the conglomerate of the information that you're collecting as you're going along. So always learning. Yes.
When I was away for 2 weeks, the woman who I went with, she has diabetes, and she has the monitor that attaches in her arm. She uses her phone to check the number. And it was like really eye-opening for me to be with someone who really is, it's like a weight on your brain to really worry about that all the time. And it really made me think about, trying to never get to that point where I would have to do that, because it's very it's really affects every aspect of your life. And there were times when she said she woke up in the middle of the night and she checked her sugar and she was down at like 45.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. So what did you do? And she had, every breakfast she had packed, because it was like a buffet, she would prepare like 2 little sandwiches, and then we'd had food. We had like a little refrigerator, and she put food in there just to eat or whatever. And then she decided, well, if it's going to be low, maybe I should eat before dinner and before I go to bed. You know what I mean? So it's like this constant cycle of trying to figure out really how to regulate this so that, you don't pass out somewhere. And it was scary.
Was she type 1?
She takes insulin, so I guess so. But
Yeah.
I think it's adult onset. So she just has been
Type
it's
2
new for
insulin
her.
dependent, and her body's
Yeah.
just not producing it like it should. Yeah, it's like it's wild. Like I've had clients who are just super stressed about it. And there's like, I think there's a few things in life that are really going to be very distracting. That's your health, your finances, and your safety. Like, can you actually walk out on your street and not get shot, kind of thing, like COVID style, but with viruses. But yeah, I mean, health is wealth to me.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have a good lifestyle balance and be able to eat well and exercise. I see a lot of like entrepreneurs and business owners who are doing exceptionally well in their business, but they're just like so incredibly stressed. It's like, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Like if you can't hang out with your family and you don't have time to exercise and you feel like crap, is it really worth it? So priorities. Yeah. But I think also it's like time management in a way, and setting boundaries and understanding like what you want to give and take. Like I think about if you're training for a marathon and you're putting in like hours and hours and hours and hours into running, but you're not putting that into your social life, or you're not putting that into your career and making money or your education. Like, what are the trade-offs? If you can run, crazy times, is it worth it? And I think that's a personal choice.
Yep.
Anyone trading off things in their life right now?
We're
Maybe.
doing it all, Elle.
You're doing all, yeah. Maybe spending a little less, buying a house a little more. Yeah, it's interesting watching the My Rich Life video, because he's like, what is your rich life, and what does it look like what are the components of it, and people sometimes are just like, I want to pay my bills, and do these, like, really, is that what your rich life is? You want to pay your bills? But like, what is it? Like, dream big. And it's kind of like, what is your healthiest life? Like, is it, I want to weigh this much, or is it, I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z, or like have kind of thinking beyond the let's pay our bills stage. Does anybody want to share what their rich, healthy life is? Ashton, I'm gonna pick on you. We were talking a little bit about this today. See if you're still here.
I knew that was coming. I don't, just lowering my lipid panels, being able to lose some weight and fit into some clothes that I want to feel good in.
Why do you want to lower your lipid panel? What does that mean to you?
My cholesterol and triglycerides and all of that,
Mhm.
because it's genetics for me, and my dad had a stroke, and he also had a speech issue because of it. So I see his struggles, and I do not want to be there at 50.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a big one. And then with my mom having diabetes, that kind of just got diagnosed out of the blue. I just want to make sure all that's in check and be more preventative.
How old are you
So
now?
33.
Okay. Well, you're doing great. You're here. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like, you think big picture, but it's like, what are we doing with our day to day? Like now, right now, who are we? What are we doing? How are we defining ourselves? That is defining the rest of your life too.
Mhm.
So even as simple as like checking off your little 3 boxes for the week, I feel like it makes a difference, because it's like you're setting the intention. You have that motivation, like, hey, I want to be healthy. I want to, not have to worry about these factors. But it's like these are kind of the underlying things why we do it. But also it's kind of nice to think about, like, what are like the fun aspects of it, like
Mhm.
spooky stuff is good, definitely shakes people up and wakes them up, but there's also the fun factor to having it, like, your TV workouts. Well, I'm about to do that too. So
It's great for reality shows, especially if it's like drama film, but be careful because you can wear yourself out very quickly.
how is it, did you guys ever watch that stupid show Too Hot to Handle?
Yes.
We were watching it when we were in Japan, and we'd all watch it and we'd be like, too hot to handle. Like, anytime they had the words up, you'd have to yell at it. We're
Love
all
it.
just dead from skiing all day. Yeah. I think one fun aspect why I haven't trained for anything in a while, and a lot of people will be like, oh, like, why are you working out? Why are you doing these things? Honestly, I like going on vacation and being able to do whatever I want. Like, like if I want to go downhill mountain bike in New Zealand, like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Like, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. Like, and the ability to be able to physically do these things. Or Laura, you go and you're able to walk and explore all these different aspects of the city, and be healthy enough to enjoy food and not be fearful about what's going to happen to your body, I think is a beautiful thing. And it really just enhances the experience of life so much, and it makes it just way more enjoyable. So
It's definitely in my life thing is now, you know, I re-got my travel bug back, so.
yay.
I was so like depressed that I came back from my trip by Thursday, I already booked another one.
We I love that. I thought I had a travel bug. Phil has a big travel bug, and like the other day he's like, I know we have some trips coming up, but we should think about all the places we want to go, but like this year. And I'm like, he's like, we don't have to plan it out yet, but we gotta write it down so we can make it happen. And I'm like, okay. What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? You know, it kind of opens up all the possibilities. Like, okay, how can we make this happen? Like, how do we get there? Can we sleep in somebody's house? Do we need a camp to do this one? Do we like do this one kind of bougie? Like, how does this all work out? Do I need to work a little harder to make this happen? So I think it's fun to just kind of allow space to dream in your life and put it into action. So any questions, comments, things you guys want? Yeah.
On the just logistics on the tab now that I noticed that we have these tabs in the master worksheet here. So if I just fill this out, what is for the accountability buddy sheet, what are we supposed to do?
So ideally you schedule a time to chat with your buddy next week.
You didn't assign buddies though, right?
I'll assign buddies.
Oh.
I think that'll probably be the easiest unless you specifically want to work with somebody, you can let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's how we'll go about it. So yeah, so it'll probably be like a group of 2 and a group of 3.
Okay, so this is view only. You don't want us to edit this. You're gonna
Let me see.
I have to request access.
I'll make you an editor here. Editor.
Yeah, I sent you a request too.
Okay. Right.
Sorry, the nerds are at work already.
Okay, so you should be able to edit it now. I would refresh your page.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna test it out for me real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever see something like that, just yell at me. Just knock on my door. Hey, this link. You know, I'm gonna have like 6 assistants and they're gonna help me make sure everything runs smoothly, and all I have to do is what I love to do, and I don't have to worry about it.
You just have to be the ideas woman. That's it.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm all about that.
Ideas and like research and nerd now. I've been taking a program. I've been reading some different research stuff, and dude, research papers are no joke to read. Like, you have to be like very smart. I read a research paper and we're going through, and he's like, so here are the critical things you need to think about, and like, is this research paper good? And the conclusion was no, and I was like, oh, like this is tough. He's like, yeah, this one, here's why, and here are all these little things. So we're building.
I don't know about you, but if I read a research paper or like any kind of contract, I always have to print it out.
Yeah.
I have to print it out and then I like highlight.
And I can't have any distractions. So like early morning, 6 a.m. post walk, cup of coffee. Maybe not at 6 a.m. coffee, but yeah.
I had to do that. I had to do like HIPAA training, you know, for work, because we get you know, my customers are some healthcare companies. So I literally had to tie myself to the chair. I was just like, come on, Laura, you could just push through. Like, you cannot get up from this chair until you finish this training.
I feel that we had to do that for a COVID project I had. that was brutal.
It sucks.
Have you heard of the app Flow? I think it is. It's basically like a little timer. And you say, I'm gonna work for 20 to 25 minutes, and then I might take a little 5-minute break. And it's great for my little pea brain when it really doesn't want to work. But you can do it on your phone or on your desktop. But it's good just to kind of force you to sit down and force feed information to your brain. Yeah. So productivity tools. All right, ladies. Wonderful seeing you all today. Again, next week we will not have structured class. It'll be buddy accountability. So get with your buddies. I'll send over details on that today on who you're with. And then we can kind of get the ball rolling with that. Other than that, I think that's about it for the day. I'll send out the meal plan tomorrow. I'm gonna have to try and have that done as soon as possible. I'll be like in between flights, so I will get that out at some point. All right.
Thank you. Have a great time.
Thank you. I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.